number 6, Brianna. Number 6. Yes, 12,803. All right, number 7, the 4th grade students at Riverside School are going on a field trip. There are 68 students on each of the 4 buses. How many students are going on the field trip? Alexa.
272.
272. And then number 8, there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Hannah likes to walk 5 miles each week for exercise. How many feet does Hannah walk each week? Arden.
26,400.
Very good. Alrighty, you guys can pass your homework to your table leader. Yes, yeah. If you guys will turn your attention to the TV, we're going to watch a quick video. This is a multiplication trick for your 7s. So the 7s is one of the hardest ones to remember. It doesn't follow as distinct of a pattern. So this is going to help you with a little tic-tac-toe strategy.
We will put a tic-tac-toe down first, like before. Now we need to write the numbers 1 through 9. But since we will write it a little differently, I'm going to use the color red. We will write them in this order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Instead of using only 1, 0, 1, and 2, we will continue up the number line using 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 6. And when I put them in front of the numbers, you can see the 2 will carry down to the second row, and the 4 will carry down to the third row. Then we will put 70 on the outside. This is the 7 times tables. 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. 3 times 7 is 21. 4 times 7 is 28. 5 times 7 is 35. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. 8 times 7 is 56. 9 times 7 is 63. And 10 times 7 is 70.
All right, what y'all think about that?
That's confusing.
Is that helpful?
It's confusing.
I get it.
All right, you guys will turn to your table of contents in your math notebook. done, you can flip to the next blank page in your book. Go ahead and write down your I can statements on the board. I can use the standard algorithm to multiply a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number. Alright, and once you're done with your I can statement, we're going to review the strategy that we just watched on the video. So go ahead and draw a tic-tac-toe board.
Don't use up your whole page, just do it at the top, very little. You still have to have room for your notes.
Alright, who remembers the first step in the video? Raylene, that we start with.
We have to put 1 through 9 going down each row. Did you start on the right?
Start on the right side. Good job. So we're going to start with a 1, and it needs to go towards the right side of the box too. So 1, 2, 3. What was our next step? Dylan.
Right, there's 0, 1, 2,
On the
3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, go up there.
Right, and then one number repeats on each row, right? So our top row is going to be 0, 1, 2, and then we're going to keep our 2 and bring that down to the next column too. So 2, 3, 4. Bring our 4 down again. 4, 5, 6. All right, after that, what goes in this first box? Yeah, 9.
7 times
Which number of these do we put there?
1, 1.
Do we put a 1 there? You're right that it's 7 times 1, but what number do we put there? Ralph, do you know? Not a 2. 0.
I said 0.
Oh, did you say 0? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. So yes, you're correct then. 0. Because we know that 7 times 1 is 7. So there does not need to be a number in the tens place. What goes in our second square? Brooke?
Put the 2 in front of the 8.
Oh, let's go across this way. Sorry.
Oh.
Which one goes there? Ralph?
1.
Yeah, and Brooke? Sorry.
One.
You're done. 1? Yes. Yeah, you're right. Because what fact does that represent, Ralph? Do you know what fact that represents? 7 times 7 times 2. Good job. All right, what goes in our third square? Ariana? 2. Good job. That represents what fact? 7 times 3. All right, down on our second row, what number starts there, Arden? Other way. Keep going. 2. You see now, so we're just moving in order. All right, and our next block, Natalie? 3. Good job. And our final block on that was Spencer. 4. So if we have 7 times 1, 7 times 2, 7 times 3, what is this? 7 times 5, 7 times 6. Okay, so our final row, Nicole, what starts out? We repeat our 4 again. And then move on to Emily. Mhm. And then finish with Luke. 6. Good job. And then what was our extra number that we put out to the side? Jaden? 70, because that is what? 7 times 10. All right, good job. Any questions about that strategy? Does everybody kind of get it after practicing?
And guys, remember that we talked about backup strategies. Remember that? If you have trouble with a fact, backup strategy. What are you always going to have when you take a test? Whether it be just a test in the classroom, an EOG test, a benchmark test, you're always going to have what with your test, Raylene?
A backup.
Well, no. What are you always going to have with it? Graph paper or scrap paper. If you're having trouble remembering your 7s, could you scribble down this on that graph or scrap paper?
Yes.
Absolutely. Then you've got all your 7 stacks right in front of your face. Isn't that nice? Okay. So that's a good one. And I'm trying to, every once in a while, give you little tricks and stuff that you can help remember certain little facts with. Okay. We talked about the 9s trick. If you need to see the 9s trick, I'll be happy to show you. I showed a couple of you already, and some of you know it already, which is good. You should know how to count or do 2s and 5s because you're counting by 2s and you're counting by 5s. Those are pretty simple, right? So, like I said, we're going to kind of look at just some strategies to remember, okay? The hard part with this strategy is remembering that it repeats. So doing the numbers backwards and then 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. And just make sure you put them in order. 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Okay? If you remember that, you're going to be good to go. All right, I passed out notes. Trim it down, glue it down. It should not take you long to do that. Just trim the top and the bottom. You don't need to sit here and trim the sides down that much. Trim it down, glue it down. When you get it glued down, you can start looking over the problem at the top of your notes. looking at the problem at the top. When you get it glued down, start reading it, start thinking about it. I like the way Luke is reading the problem. Awesome, good job. You're a good listener. I like it. I like it. More seconds. Get it glued down. Come on, Mike. That needs to be perfect, bud. Let's go. You should already be gluing it. Does need to be perfect. Glue it. Let's go. Okay, paper should be glued by now. Let's look at it. Like Ms. Cothran said, today we are using the standard algorithm to multiply a 2-digit by 1-digit number. We talked about that word standard algorithm when we did addition. Yes? I know Ms. Haycock wasn't here, but I know Ms. Romek probably used that word. Yes? Hopefully. What is the standard algorithm? What does that mean? What's a standard algorithm? Anybody remember? Addition and subtraction? What does standard mean? If something is just standard, what does that mean? Brooke?
It's just a number. It's like if it's 335, it's 300.
Okay, it's just a regular number, right? If you have a standard way of doing something, it's just the normal way of doing something, right? So standard algorithm is just a fancy method or fancy way of saying we're going to do it the regular way. Moms and dads like this way because this is mom and dad's way. This is what we learned. I'm a part of that mom and dad way. That's the way I learned when I was a kid. I didn't learn the way we did yesterday using expanded form. Do I wish I learned expanded form way? I do, because I love that way. I would have been a pro at multiplication. But I learned the standard way. This is mom and dad's way. So some of you may like this way much better than yesterday's way. Is that okay? Can you use this way? Sure, that's fine. Look at our problem today. It says a thoroughbred racehorse can run at speeds of up to 60 feet per second. During practice, Celia's horse runs at a speed of 36 feet per second. How far does her horse run in 3 seconds? What's my problem? What am I trying to find? Ooh, my problem-solving steps always there, right? Haley, what's my problem?
3 times 6.
Okay, what's my problem? What am I trying to find? Remember when we did that math workshop? My problem comes first in problem-solving steps. Haley?
How far does a horse run?
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to find. How far does her horse run in 3 seconds? Okay? What's important for me to use to solve this problem? What's important for me to use? Pardon?
That her horse runs 36 feet per second.
Aha! The horse, her horse, can run at 36 feet per second. What does per second mean? Brooke?
Each second.
Each second. So every single second, her horse can go 36 feet. Okay? All right, what else is important? What else am I going to use to solve this problem, Dylan?
In a race, she runs 60 feet per second.
Do you think that's important? It just says a thoroughbred racehorse can run at speeds up to 60 feet per second. Is that going to help tell me how far Celia's horse runs?
No.
No. Do I need that 60?
No.
No, don't get tricked. Don't get tricked. Sometimes, remember this happened last time, sometimes there's info that we don't need. You have to pay close attention. Because if not, you're going to grab that 60 and you're going to be multiplying with that 60 when you don't need to. Okay? The 60 has to do with just a thoroughbred racehorse in general, not Celia's horse. What else do we know about Celia's horse? Or what other information am I going to use? Spencer?
2 seconds.
3 seconds. Because remember, we're looking how far her horse goes in 3 seconds. All right? The multiplication problem here is what? Rachel?
36 times 3.
It's 36 times 3 because she goes 36 feet per second. How many can she go in 3 seconds? All right? Now, notice we could repeat add, right? Because that's the same as multiplication. We want to do it a lot quicker, all right? They have an estimate here. Why did they estimate the number, you think, Raylene? Why do you think they estimated the number? What did we do, what's today, Tuesday? What did we do on Friday of last week? We estimated products. Why did we estimate products last week? Alexa?
You could take off the 0, just do the regular numbers and then add 0.
We could, but why did we estimate them last week? It had to do with that R word. Whether or not the answer was, whether the answer was what? Below? Reasonable. So they're estimating, remember, to see if their final answer could be a reasonable answer, okay? So remember, they just estimated 36 rounds to 40. So 3 times 40 is what? Luke? 120. That's our estimated answer. So our final answer should be somewhere around there for it to be reasonable, okay? All right, the steps for multiplying a 2-digit by 1-digit. Pretty simple. We have it lined up vertically. Does everybody see this? Okay? But I'll write it bigger if you want. The first step is multiplying the ones. Now notice, this is a ones and this is a ones place. So 6 times 3. What is 6 times 3? This is basic facts again. What's 6 times 3? 18. So notice what happened. If we have 18, we can't put all 18 in the ones place, can we?
No.
Because we don't like 2-digit per place. So what do we do when we add numbers? Think back to addition. What happens when we get a 10 or higher number in one place when we add? What do we do, Natalie? We regroup it to the next place, right? We take that 10 and we regroup it to the next place. Same thing happens multiplication. So instead of writing 18 down here, we're going to leave the 8 and we're going to regroup the 1 to the tens place. Does everybody see that? I'm going to put a plus sign in front of that 1, just so I don't forget, okay, what comes next. Does everybody understand that? You can see the model, all right? We took out a 10, we regrouped it over into the tens place. Does everybody see that? We put it with the tens. Got it? That's all we did for regrouping. Step 2, we go to the tens, and now we multiply the tens. Now, just like yesterday, we're taking our tens number and we're going to multiply it by that 3 as well. Because remember, like yesterday, who was it? Spencer. He was sharing with everybody, wasn't he? He was sharing his 5 with everybody, distributing it out. So this 3 got shared with the 6. Now the 3 is going to be shared with the other 3. But keep in mind, this is 3 tens. So 3 times 3 is what? Basic fact, Jaden.
9.
It's 9, and whenever we have a regrouped number, we add the regrouped number. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 gives me what, Natalie?
10.
10. Do I have another place value to regroup it to?
Oh.
No. What happens if I don't have another place to regroup it to? Think back addition. What happens if we don't have anywhere else to go, Luke? What do? We just write it in the answer, okay? So we got 10. We don't have another place to regroup it, so I'm just going to write 10. Does everybody see that? Okay? So we multiplied the tens, got 3 by 3 tens, 9 tens. We add the regrouped 10 that we took, and that's 1 more 10 to have 10 tens, or that's equal to 100. Final answer is
108.
108. So at the bottom, Celia's racehorse runs 108 feet in 3 seconds. Look underneath it. Told you, there's the estimate, right? What does that say? Since blank is close to the estimate of blank, the answer is reasonable. How can I fill that out to make sense? Alexa?
Since 180 is close
No, 180. Careful.
108 is close to the estimate of 120, the answer is reasonable.
Very good. Do you see why they estimated? Does everybody see why they estimated? They were checking to see if that final answer was reasonable or not. Okay? 108 is close to 120. It's reasonable. Does everybody see that? Questions so far? We're not done by any means. Okay. Ms. Cothran's going to come up here and do some more practice with you. You are getting a paper passed out. You need to be on the side that has the grid paper on it. Put your name, number, date at the top, please. On the side with the grid paper.
All right, we're going to work some practice problems. So for our first one, let's do an ugly 8. This is supposed to be 82 times 3. Wherever you decide to line it up on the paper, make sure that your 1s are lined up in the same column and that your 10s stays in a separate column. Alright, so what is our first step? Brooke.
You have to multiply the ones place first, so 2 times 3.
2 times 3 and 2 times 3 is
6.
6. So do we have anything that we need to carry over?
No.
We do not. So what is our second step? Since we've shared the 3 with the 1's place, Spencer. 8 times 3. Now we've got to share it with the 10's place, and 8 times 3 is 24. What do we do with our 24? Luke. We just put it down, right? Because we don't have any other number to carry or regroup over. So we just bring that 24 down. So our answer is 46. Awesome. All right, moving over to our next number 2 spot. We are going to do 75 times 6. What is our first step, Anaya?
6 times 5
And 6 times 5 is
30.
30. So what am I going to put under the 1's place? A 0. What am I going to carry? A 3. Where am I going to put my 3? Above the 10's place. Okay. All right, what's my next step now? Arden.
Multiply 7 times 6 and then
Add
add the 3.
the 3. That's right. I forgot my plus sign. So 6 times 7 is?
42
And 42 plus 3?
is 45.
So what do I do with my 45?
Put that in 5 goes in the 10s and then
Right. Bring that over to the hundreds. So what is my final answer for that one?
450.
150. All right, we'll work one more together. Let's do 68 times 4. 2, and then where do I put my 3?
Over the 6.
Over the 6. On my second step, Natalie, 4 times 6 is 24, and then do what? Add the 3, and 24 plus 3 is 27. So where am I going to put my 27? In the 2 boxes. So my final answer is 272. Alright, you guys are going to do a few more practice problems on your own. I'll write them in the rest of your squares.
Spencer, he's using that 7's trick already. Looking back in that notebook. Okay. You're done, check over your answers. Miss Catherine's gonna go over the answers in just a minute.
questions about those? All right.
Okay. You should have those checked off. Flip on the back side right now. You have 8 problems on this side to practice on your own. Notice each of the 8 problems also has a space for what? Rachel? Estimating. So I do want you to come up with an estimate as well. We did that on Friday, last Friday, remember. So come up with an estimate. Please stop working and pencils down and eyes on me. Find an estimate and find the exact. Do you understand? This is a self-checking assignment. Why? Because there are 8 problems. As you solve each problem, if you look on the board, you should be able to find your answer on the board. So after you solve the first one, which is number 2, look on the board. If you see your answer on the board, what does that mean? You did a good job, okay? Find the letter that goes with it and just write the letter somewhere in this space. If you want to do it at the very bottom, that's fine. When you find the answer for number 3, write the letter that goes with that. Number 4, number 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Write the letters that go with the answer. If you did it all correctly, at the end you should have the answer to the riddle, what is a cheetah's favorite food? If you get the answer, don't tell the answer, okay? That ruins it for it. Ruins all the fun, okay? So when you know the answer, just keep it to yourself, okay? But if you get in the first word, this is one word, and this is one word. So it should look very clear as to what the answer is, okay? If you don't know what you just wrote on your paper, then you probably did something wrong, okay? You go back and look at it. Because I have wrong answers on the board too, you understand? And some of these wrong answers are errors that you might make. Because I know the kind of errors you might make. So be careful. You might write down a wrong letter. And you'll notice that at the end, if your riddle, your answer to the riddle does not make any sense. Okay? If you have questions, raise your hand. Ms. Catherine and I'll be here to help you. Go. Math file when you're done. Take your time. Make sure you get those facts. Some of you like to do them so quickly you think you know them,